Hey YouTube, Mike here. How we all doing today? Hope we all had a safe and productive week. Alright, today's video is I purchased about 2 weeks ago Sortimo, or it's a Bosch product, but it's still made by Sortimo. The boxes that I showed you a video or two ago. It's called the L Dolly. So it's made by Bosch. It's pretty much in the same color as the Sortimo boxes, because as you know, Bosch's, as you can see, Bosch's L boxes are the color of the Bosch's product. So I wanted the dolly, just like I have the pack out dolly and I have the Festool dolly, which is the sustainer dolly, or Tannis. I wanted the dolly for the boxes that I had. But I was like, hemming and hawing what I was going to use the boxes for. Now, I think I gave you a little sneak peek last time, but now I'm going to show you exactly what I'm using these boxes for. So, the dolly I actually picked up off of Amazon. And again, everything will be in the description below. I believe it was like, it was $69 or $70 something dollars. It's called the L Dolly. And you get the dolly, you get 4 casters, 4 bolts, which the bolt is in here, instruction sheet, the little catalog, click and go catalog of all the products that they make, and this weird looking Allen wrench. And I'm going to show you. Now, like I said, I've been using the dolly for about 2 or better weeks now. Just wanted to see how it operated. It'll hold 220 pounds of product. So your L boxes plus what is ever in them. And it's only designed for the L box only. That's it. So they give you, it's all 4 swivel dollies. So the dollies swivel. And 2 of them are locking. But being as like particular as I am, when you get this, the unit is basically upside down in the box. So I took it out, I laid it down, and I proceeded to put the dolly, the wheels on. And I wanted the casters on the long side, because it's a rectangle, 2 handles. And I put the non-locking casters here. When I flipped it over, my locking casters, which are here now, right here, were on the back, and L box was backwards. And I kind of, I know it might sound funny, but I didn't like it. So, but I struggled for the first 2 casters putting them on. But then something happened. I'm going to just turn this camera a little bit more. Something happened that made the installation a heck of a lot easier. So the first 2 casters that I put on, I put 1 locking and 1 non-locking. But then when I went to put the second non-locking caster on, something happened where I put the Allen wrench in, and you figure you're just going to keep picking it out, picking it out and turn. All you do is, if you could see, is get it into the threaded insert, start turning it, and then just turn the entire wheel around. And you're just doing a 360-degree pivot until you lock it in. But those other ones, I was like that every time. What up? Oh my God. And these, with the lock, come around, and as they angle down because of the weight until you kind of get it taut, keeps hitting the plastic frame. So, I mean, you know, I'm sitting here having a cigar doing it, but I didn't realize that was the best way to do it. So, here it is assembled. Now, I got a question. Maybe somebody can answer it if they know. Here is the locking mechanisms for the L box, here and here. But then they give you these 2 little pieces here. I think the way it looks is maybe some type of strap would go through there, because there's kind of like round recesses. There's 2 here that actually looks like you can click something in. There's a piece of like flexible polymer, But then here, it looks like a bar would go in and then maybe a strap would come out. But nowhere on the instruction sheet and nowhere could I find. And I didn't go on their website, but I was just interested because I just was switching the casters, but I left one off for the video. Okay, so now that our L box is straight, let me lock the two casters. And I gotta say, with the two casters locked, especially when it's down on the floor, it's pretty stable. And they suggest lock the casters, and it's very easy with your foot, even with a work boot, to flip the lock off. But if you decide to use your thumb, there's enough room here that you're not going to catch your thumb. And I've done it a few times. Now, what am I using these for? Well, I'll show you what I use this first one for, because I reloaded this one L box. This is the L box. I'm not sure I'm going to use this. This is the one with the metal inserts or aluminum inserts in it that you can switch around. I'm still not sure what I'm going to use this one for, and I have other ones at my shop that I'm using, that when I go out, like to my son-in-law daughter's house, I bring that with me because it has like tools and stuff. I have an empty one that I can put my sanders and stuff in. But this one, I like the DK screws. You know, they have the Spanx and stuff. I feel these screws are pretty much the same. So what I did is I started a box for those screws. These are the ones, and actually here, I got a box here. So it's the GRK, the trim head screws, and you pretty much don't even need to drill a countersink. They're great screws. I use these. I have the white powder coated ones. You can use them interior, exterior, and I basically have 1.5 inches, 2, 2.5, and 3 1/4. And then I'm going to put more sizes in here, like 1 inch. And then it's got a star bit. My mother said never use my teeth. So it's basically every box comes with a fairly decent, what number is it? Hard for me to see. Doesn't say. Oh, T10. Sorry, I had it upside down. So it comes with a T10 bit, a little gold one. So this box, that's what I'm using this for. And I leave it here, and it's my transport box. So if I'm going to go somewhere, now I have screws in a box. All right, what am I using my L boxes for? Well, let's put the first L box on so you can see how it looks on the actual dolly. And again, they lock in. And of course, if it was down more, it would be better. I need to put it sideways, sorry. A little easier when it's on the floor because they got a little bit of weight to it. So there it is, locked in. The bottom drawer, actually, if you use one of these drawers, it's hard to open. But with this compartment one, and you lift it up, remember this one you can operate on 2 different levels because there's 2 different slides in here. These actual drawer ones will fit in all 3, but with this here on the bottom, see, it won't go in. It's very hard. It drops down, but now it's like you got to pull it really hard, and it forces it up a little bit. So for me, it doesn't matter. I can leave this one here for what I'm using it for, and put this one in on the top. And again, they lock in, you know, really good. And I've had them in my work van, and I've had them in my Tacoma, and the drawers never opened. So, what am I using them for? Well, I'm using them for my race cars. I actually stack this one on top of this one, and I transport my oils and tape, light, tech board, rags, magnetic pieces. And this is the one that matches this one. So if I wanted to use this one here, they all fit perfectly in there. So in here, I just keep, you know, a standard paper towel, a magnetic tip, and then my tire tapes and double-sided tape and reinforced tape, a tech board for my cars. And these is what I use to race my little mini Z's and my new, they're called mini four-wheel drive cars. I keep a light, my grease and oil, charging block, and everything for both classes fit perfectly in here. All my AAA and AA batteries, because they run off of AAA and AA rechargeable batteries. Here's my tools. I keep it in a Maxpedition bag, all of my different tools. Most of these tools are Japanese. They come directly from either a company called Tamiya, which probably a lot of you are familiar with, or other aftermarket companies. I keep parts bin, more parts, instruction manual in case I got to take the car apart, more parts bins, fits perfectly. These are for my mini Z's, which are radio control cars, 1/28 scale. They're like slot cars, but radio controlled. And then in this one, I carry more batteries, motors, so more AAA batteries, which didn't want to stay in. That's because I raced yesterday and I got to charge them. So it's a special battery holder for AAAs. More parts bins. These are the motors. You could swap motors out during a race, but that's how small the motors are. These are the cars. This is actually a kit. It's a truck. More tech board, extension cord, my plug for my charger. Then this has all of the parts and stuff for the mini four-wheel drive, grease, AA batteries for my radio, and then a lot of parts, upgraded parts. Then in here, I actually carry for my plug-in battery charger. It'll do both AA and AAA, Panasonic, and these are the cars. So this is it's called the mini four-wheel drive. It comes as a kit. This car was $29 with just a couple of upgrades, and basically it rides in a track. So go on YouTube and Google up mini four-wheel drives and see how massive this race is, especially like in the Philippines, in Japan, China, Malaysia, Singapore. Massive. They race in alleyways. They set these tracks up, and the company Tamiya makes the track, and they make sections, and they're just massive tracks. And this car will go around our track, which is just the basic track with a couple of extensions, in under 2 seconds. This car. And they make hundreds of different cars. And these rollers help it guide itself around the track itself. And basically the track this is a box that texts the car to make sure that the car will fit in the track after you build it or upgrade it. So you put it in this box, and they have a box like this at the track to make sure your car is legal. And this actually tells me, and it's made by Tamiya, acrylic, and that's what fits in here. And then they make anime cars, they make weird looking cars like this, and this holds 2 AA batteries. It'll last you hours on it. Fast as could be here. I think this is what, a Mazda Miata or something like that. Look at this. Pretty cool. So this is what I use to bring to the track. So I'll make this box with this box, and I leave it together next to me on the floor. So I'm sitting, I leave it here, and then I have all my bits and pieces. The only thing I have to bring with me is my radio for the Mini Z's, and this thing that I just got the other day, because I used to I can only fit 3 Mini Z's. So really, like, the bottom half is my Mini Z, the top half is these 4-wheel drive, but all the tools are pretty much the same, and batteries, of course, these are AAA, the other ones are AA. So I got to carry extra batteries, a couple of extra tech manuals and stuff like that. But everything else is pretty much the same. But this is I've been waiting for this to come in from Japan. The owner of the track that I raced the Mini Z's got one, and I loved it. So basically, it's a car hauler. So these are my race Mini Z's, the ones that I race all the time. And they all run off of one radio, a Futaba. It's a 40 car memory radio, so I can put 40 cars in it. And these cars, they come as a kit car. So like this car right here, you'll get this car built exactly, painted, decaled, everything. Comes with, you do have to change the tires to race them, but if you wanted a horseplay on your driveway, that's the tires it comes with. Comes with a radio, comes with some parts, a couple of little tools, the instruction manual. You could put regular alkaline batteries in here. This holds 4 batteries, and the radio holds 4 batteries, so 8 batteries, and you can just sit there on the driveway and race them if you had 2 of them. They're like anywhere from $150 to $200 depending on the car. So, and it's called box stock. I just upgraded a couple of things on this. I actually came in first place yesterday with this car. They do make 4-wheel drive, but these are all 2-wheel drive cars. So like now this car here is a car I built. So this car is all built. So it was a white body, I painted it, and then and the way it comes apart, let's just see, is you pull the wings of this, and the bottom drops out, and this is the actual car. So the whole car is built. Rear end, motor, suspension, steering. This is actually the rear shock flex for the rear of the car. It's servo and everything is built in, tiny little motor. The computer board that runs it, receiver, that's a lap counter, and it's 1/28 scale. Look how tiny this thing is. Yeah, and yes, look at the little tiny springs in the front here, and that all has to do with suspension, and they make different color springs, plates, and then the batteries on this go on the bottom, keep the weight down. And then to put the car back together, you just fit it into the front receiver and get it lined up, pull the wings, and it didn't go in the front receiver. This one's a little harder because it's an aftermarket body, and I collect you got to see the car bodies. If you're a car nut, oh my God, I got about 35, 36 cars. I leave them in the clear plastic display box. They put about 20 or maybe less, more a month out, painted, decaled, any type of race car and any type of regular car on the street. Like my drift car is a Dodge Charger, green with a black roof. But I love Porsches, McLarens, Ferraris, Vettes. And you can get any car possible that you want. Like, look at this McLaren. Look at that McLaren. And it comes just like this. Painted, decals. The mirrors are rubber, so when you bang into them, they're not falling off. They come fully. The only car is that one I just showed you. Here, look at this Vet. This Vet also I built. This is a build car. Again, you see it's different colors. But look at that Vet. And it's a race Vet too. I have regular Vets. So like regular street Vets you can put on. You can put any car. Here's Ferrari. There's another one of my popular cars. Yeah, I lost the mirror on that one. And tough as nail. And they're made by a company called Kyosho. Again, very popular car. And then this is another built car. I broke the wing on the back. It's one of them 24-hour Le Mans cars. My wiper needs to be re-glued. But this car I got to work on a little bit more. And then I carry tires in here. And then these are foam boards that you leave your car on while you're working on them. And then somebody at my track 3D printed these, and they pop the batteries out. So you'll go through the bottom and it pops out all 4 batteries to charge them up. So that's pretty cool. That's all I bring. But like these anything, they're multiversal. You could use them for anything. So as you can see, I'm not just using them for equipment. And I don't go any higher because this is the perfect height from the floor up. It's the perfect height for a standard foldable table. And it's sitting right there, and I just leave the top open, and then I can access. I don't have anything marked yet because I'm still, working on what and where I want to put it. Because I used to bring in this rolling trolley bag made by a company specifically for Mini Z, Silver Horse Racing, and it had a bunch of bags in it, and then I just put my radio on it, and that one held 4 cars, but they're in boxes. So you don't want to just put your cars in there. I keep them inside of a special box. You don't want them scratched up. I mean, they are getting scratched up when you're racing, but you don't want them messed up as you're transporting them. But now that I got into this 4-wheel drive, I didn't want to bring in so many boxes. So sitting out here looking at this thing, I'm like, I think I can get this stuff. So I first started with the top, but then I decided to switch my Mini Zs in because we raced both on those days. So I put what I needed and then realized the tools were all the same. Well, pretty much, at least 90% of them. And the chargers were the same. My light, all my other stuff was pretty much the same. So I just incorporated it into the L box. And it worked out really good. And now I just wheel it and leave it in the corner. And I just wheel it, undo it, put it in my trucks and go. All right, YouTube. Again, thank you for all the likes, comments, and subscribes. Hit that notification button. Like and share the video. My email will be below. If you have a question on any of my other videos, feel free to ask. And I'll have pricing and everything in the description below. All right, YouTube? And again, check out the, it's called Tamiya Mini 4-wheel drive. It's the only company that makes them, and they pretty much make all the parts. And if you're familiar with RC, Tamiya is like the leader. And just look at some of these tracks and how fast these cars go. And then check out the Mini Zs. You'll especially if you got young kids, they'll love it. Very easy to operate, and you'll have a blast. All right, YouTube? You all be safe out there, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye now.